Hello there, good math people. Today we're taking a look at unit rates, but instead of just finding unit rates, we're going to take those unit rates that we find and use them to solve an extended problem. Let's get started. In question number one here, it's not really question number one. There we go. Kira earned $7 mowing her neighbor's lawn for half an hour. So what is her hourly rate? So make sure that you write down anything that I highlight and write down anything I write in your math notebook. So we're earning $7 mowing, and that's for a half an hour. So we want to know, what is her hourly rate? So remember, when we talk about hourly rate, we are talking about the amount of money that is earned per hour. Hourly rate. So remember, when we do proportions and unit rates, how we set them up is how it reads from left to right. The money that's earned per hour. So remember, per is that division line. So it shows here that Kira earned $7, and that's for a half an hour. We want to know the hourly rate. So how much is she earning for 1 hour? Well, to take 1/2 and make 1, we would divide by 1/2. But remember that dividing is multiplying by the reciprocal. So this would be multiplying by 2/1, the reciprocal of 1/2. And we do the same thing up here, except up here we don't have a fraction, so we can just multiply by 2. And $7 multiplied by 2 is $14. So her hourly rate is $14 per hour. Okay, well now we can use that question to answer that hourly rate to answer the next question. How much in 4.5 hours? Well, again, we're going to set up our unit rate. We know that she is earning $14 per hour, so we're going to go with $14 for 1 hour. How much for 4.5 hours? Okay, well then how do we get from 1 hour to 4.5 hours? Well, we're going to multiply by 4.5. And, do we want to multiply that as a mixed number, as an improper fraction, or a decimal? It's entirely up to you how you want to do that, but I'm going to go with 4.5 because I'm multiplying a decimal, which is money, times the 4.5. So 14 multiplied by 4.5, 4.5 is $63. So in 4.5 hours, $63. So I write it out like this, $63 in 4.5 hours. Perfect, marvelous, wonderful. Okay, let's look at the next question. The Jenkins family drinks 3/4 of a gallon of orange juice every 3 days. So 3/4 of a gallon every 3 days. How much orange juice do they drink per day? So orange juice per day. Make sure you're writing down everything that gets highlighted. So juice per day, gallons per day. Gallons per day. Make sure that division line gets there. So we know that they're drinking 3/4 of a gallon every 3 days. So how much, sorry about that. How much for 1 day? How much orange juice? 3/4 of a gallon in 3 days. How much for 1 day? Well, we have to ask ourselves, how do I get from 3 days to 1 day? Well, I'm going to divide by 3. And if I divide the top by 3 also, that means that I am taking 3/4 divided by 3/1. That's the same thing as 3/4 multiplied by the reciprocal, which would be 1/3. And multiply straight across. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 3/12. I can simplify that. I can divide both of those by 3. and I end up with 1/4. So 1/4 of a gallon of orange juice per day. 1/4 gallon per day. All right, well, now that we know that information, the next question says, at this rate, how much orange juice in 7 days? How much orange juice will the Jenkins family drink in 7 days? Okay, well, we're still looking at gallons per day, so we've got 1/4 gallon in 1 day. How much in 7 days? Now that we found the unit rate, it's easy. 1 times 7 is 7. 1/4 times 7 will be 1/4 times 7 over 1. Multiply straight across. 1 times 7 is 7. 4 times 1 is 4. 7/4. 4 goes into 7 one time, with 3/4 left over. So 1 3/4 of a gallon in 7 days. There we go. See how easy it is? We find the unit rate, then we use the unit rate to answer the next question. Isaac is on the swim team. He's training for an upcoming race. He swims across a 50-meter pool in 3/5 of a minute. 50-meter pool. In 3/5 of a minute. At this rate, how far can he swim per minute? Okay, how far per minute? Okay, well, again, we would set it up. $50 in 3/5 of a minute. It's 50 meters in 3/5 of a minute. How far in 1 minute? Okay, well, to get from 3/5 to 1, we would need to multiply by the reciprocal of 3/5, and that would be 5 over 3. 3/5 times 5/3. Multiply 50 times 5/3. Well, that would be 50 over 1 times 5/3. Let's see, 50 times 5 is 250. And 1 times 3 is 3. How many times will 3 go into 250? Well, let's see. Well, that's 83. How much is left over? Let's see. 83 times 3, 249. Oh, okay, so it's 83 1/3 meter in 1 minute. Fantastic. Okay, 83 1/3 meters in 1 minute. So, the next question then is, how far will Isaac be able to swim in 1.5 minutes? Okay, well, then we have to take that 83 1/3, our unit rate here, 83 1/3 meters in 1 minute. And we want to know what that'll be in 1.5 minutes. Well, we know that we have to multiply 1 times 1.5 to make 1.5. We're going to have to multiply 83 1/3 times 1.5. But we should probably change 83 1/3 to an improper fraction, which we know is 250 over 3. Multiply that times 1.5. We'll make that into an improper fraction as well. That's 3/2. I'm going to do some cross simplifying because I know that 3 and 3 can both be divided by 3, and I get 1. And 250 and 2, those can be simplified. They can both be divided by 2. This is 1, and this will be 125. Now, when I multiply straight across, 125 times 1 is 125, and 1 times 1 is 1. 125 over 1 is, well, it's 125. So 125 meters in 1.5 minutes. Perfect. All done with that one. Last question now. Chloe and her dog Bingo walk 2/3 of a mile in 1/6 of an hour. At this rate, how far can they walk per hour? How far per hour? So we're looking at miles per hour, right? Miles per hour. We know that how it's written is how it gets set up from top to bottom. 2/3 of a mile in 1/6 of an hour is what we were given. And we want to know how far for 1 hour. Well, to get from 1/6 to 1, we would multiply by its reciprocal, which would be 6 over 1. We do the same thing up top. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. 12 over 3, 12 divided by 3, that is 4. So 4 miles per hour. 4 miles per hour. That's Chloe and her dog Bingo's rate. Now, the next question is, at this rate, how far can they walk in 30 minutes? How far in 30 minutes? How many miles in 30 minutes? So we'll set up our unit rate again. We know that she can go 4 miles in 1 hour. How much in 30 minutes? 30 minutes. Well, you know, with this one, to go from 1 hour to 30 minutes, I have to remember that 1 hour is the same thing as 60 minutes. So, how do I get from 60 minutes to 30 minutes? Well, I'm going to divide by 2. 60 divided by 2 is 30. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 miles in 30 minutes. 2 miles in 30 minutes. All right, so you can see that once we find the unit rate, we can use that unit rate to answer other questions based on the unit rate. So make sure that you are able to find unit rate. How they are written from left to right is how it gets set up from top to bottom. Per means division or the fraction bar. And now you're going to have an assignment in forms. Go ahead and look for that. Have a great day. Don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you next time.